Delsing spent 25 years on the PGA Tour and is a lifetime member of the PGA Tour and PGA of America. Now he provides his unique perspective as a golfer and network broadcaster. It's time to go on the range with Jay Delsing.
On the Range is brought to you by Pro-Am Golf.
Hey, good morning, St. Louis. Good morning, Pearlie, you're back. Did you find all those sniper golf balls you lost? Me and I were thinking that you might be out for a couple months.
That's interesting. You guys can push and bully me around, but I am back, and I appreciate you sending a limo. So that tells me you wanted me back.
We missed you, Pearlie. Oh, is that limo for you? No. Anyway.
Hey, man, I was just thinking. They said this wouldn't last. Week 91.
I know. How do it know? How did we? I mean.
And there's no reason to think we're not going to get to 92 at this point, is there?
No,
94, 95 is sketchy.
Questionable. But, all right, so we formatted the show like a round of golf, and this first segment is called the On the Range segment. It's brought to you by Pro-Am Golf. They have everything you need at Pro-Am Golf. Give those guys a call. Check them out online. Our social media outlets, Twitter is at Jay Delsing. Facebook is Golf with Jay Delsing and Jay Delsing Hospitality. LinkedIn is Jay Delsing, and Instagram is... We don't give it to you, we don't know it, and it continues to grow.
I like that you're testing the Pro-Am product because being at your house now, I get to have my hands on this stuff.
Let's mention that real quickly. So I've got this thing called the Delsing Report, and it's brought Pro-Am Golf. It's brought to you by Pro-Am Golf, and so if you go to my YouTube channel.
So you can't even say that with a straight face.
I know.
But you do have one, don't you?
Yeah. I don't exactly know what it is, but it's...
Have you ever watched it?
No.
Well,
I watched
you made
the clips.
It, though.
Yeah, I watched
it's like every week you say, Pearlie, did you listen to the show? I'm like, I did the show.
Yeah, I know.
Did
you listen to it? Did you like it? You're like, no, I can't stand it. Anyway, so I went out and just tested five of the top drivers. You and I both had a favorite.
I picked it up and boom. I don't even remember what it was right now, but man, it just looked sweet.
And then we tested, I think, 4 different putters. We tested. I
remember which one it was because it's in my trunk right now.
Yeah,
Pro-Am Golf. They got a lot of stuff over there. They won't miss one club.
One
Come on.
tiny little driver like that. We got the orange whip, which was a good little trainer. Some head covers, some golf gloves. So. Yeah, if you get
the orange whip could do me in the dreams I have about golf, though. I could end up being strangled by that thing in a dream.
You could. It's a little too whippy. That shaft would be right around your neck, and you'd be looking for my bag.
I get it, though. I like the feel. I understand the thinking behind it. I think it's a great idea. It's definitely worth doing, but. I'm thinking the side effects for me could be devastating.
Yeah, they could. You could hurt yourself. You could be the only person to throw a shoe trying to swing the orange whip. We got to thank Bob and Kathy Donahue, Donahue Painting and Refinishing. Call them at 314-805-2132. These are great people. They have professionals that come into your house safely and do just a terrific job. So 314-805-2132. All right. Wow, U.S. Open is in the books.
Yeah, so much fun.
First of all, what did you think? I know you did. So little backstory. When I played in 06, you caddied for me and helped get me through the second stage, after Dad died and all that stuff, and you decided to go on the fishing trip to Canada instead of going to Wingfoot.
And it wasn't a very hard decision.
No.
And the psychologist you were working with at the time calls me up and says, you really should go caddy. I said, I've got a date with some walleye, and that's not going to change because that's rock solid in my calendar every year.
We're talking about Bob Rotella now.
It wasn't a hard decision, but I was glad that that it wasn't a hard decision. And when I do look back, I obviously I wish I could have done both because I know it was a special place for you. It's a special time. We knew it was going to be one of your last U.S. Opens. I think it was.
It was my last year.
And you were really playing well at the time.
Yeah, I played a senior open, but Wingfoot as a venue is just. I mean, it's right up there with Pebble Beach for me and being my favorite.
It's wild when you say that because compared to Pebble on the ocean?
You can't get more dramatically different scenarios. You're talking about an inland course, and you're also talking about a linksy style course like Pebble Beach. But it's just the venue is just something special. The history there overwhelms you. The oh my gosh, how is a clubhouse intimidating? But that place there's aura there. it's unmistakable.
Well, a lot of the guys felt the same way, Jay, because it's interesting. And the number that said, "Oh, my favorite place," or "I couldn't wait," or "favorite stop of the year," et cetera, et cetera. It was quite the accolades for a place that's going to go and absolutely put you drooling in the corner.
Exactly. Well, so Randy Carricker's great buddy. He and Michelle Smallman have a show on this station, 101 ESPN in the morning, and they asked me to pick a winner of the PGA Championship last one, and I happened to, lucky rabbit's foot this Colin Morikawa. It was I don't know. That's just what I chose, and he won, and that put me like 1 for 300 in my choices. They asked me to pick this week the winner for the U.S. Open, and I picked Kevin Kisner, who shot 12 over and missed a cut. I was also looking at a couple of other people. I was looking, believe it or not, I was looking at Louis Oosthuizen, just because the guy's won the British Open,
awesome.
And he's just got a great swing, but he kind of slides under the radar and hasn't really been playing that well. And I looked at Patrick Reed, and I looked at a couple of other players, and I thought, I'm going with Kiss. The one person I did look at that I thought could never win.
You picked him to finish last or
DFL,
not have a chance.
Yeah, would be Bryson DeChambeau. Yeah. Pro, who won yesterday?
Mead, who won yesterday?
I believe that would have been Mr. Bryson DeChambeau.
That's
interesting.
Right. That's right.
Does
That's
that
right.
when you're that far off, does that cancel the win you had with Morikawa?
It should.
Yeah.
It should.
Neutralizes it anyway.
Should. But I want to tell you right now, the entire golf world is upside down. It's excited. All of the people that thought this kid's nuts. What is he doing? He's too crazy. He's too scientific.
See, this is what's interesting to me, because I would say, when was it Chambers Bay? There was a time,
2015.
It wasn't that far back. A couple of years ago, when you said to me, you came off one of the times you're out there working with Fox, and you said, you got to watch this DeChambeau. And I said, it seems like kind of a circus act. He says, I'm telling you, This guy's something special. So how'd you go from that to then figuring out maybe it's like a circus act, but now obviously it's not?
I never thought he was a circus act, but I never thought this style would win at Winged Foot, John. That rough up there is too penal. I didn't think so. Bryson DeChambeau won the U.S. Open hitting the smallest number of fairways in the history of the U.S. Open. 23 fairways for the week. And that's an accurate figure, actually, which is unusual for our show.
That's very unusual.
And folks, if you're ever going to fact check anything, fact check that one.
Mark this clip, because this is probably the only time that we're actually standing behind
exactly.
a number that we talk about.
I'm standing behind it. But what's interesting, though, is because I played up there in that rough, the combination of the greens being so hard to play with your ball coming out of the rough with so little control left me thinking, got no chance.
Yeah, some of the distinctions I think we're going to talk about a little bit later, but with Winged Foot 2, some of the length, how much longer they made it, I think, even than when you played it.
Yes.
And some things I can't compare it to. So what did you see that was different than when you played?
The only thing was that they lengthened a few tees here and there. They.
What was the total yardage? You remember?
When I played,
something close out there that we can
74 something when we played.
So there,
something like that.
Wow.
Well, the interesting thing about a Winged Foot is that there's only a few places, Pro, where they can actually move the tees back.
Yeah. Tell the story about when you were hitting the fairway, the effort when you're hitting the rough, the effort just to get it out of the rough, and how aggressive you would or wouldn't be. 3 times I hit it in the major rough in 36 holes. That's not bad for me. 3 times. That's not 3 times in the rough, 3 times in the major rough.
I said major rough.
Okay, I want to make sure.
I said major rough. I will tell you this. If I only missed 3 fairways in 2 rounds at Winged Foot, I'd start off every show telling everybody that. I absolutely would. I took full swing at my 60 and went directly back towards the fairway, not trying to advance it forward, and never reached the fairway. The 3 lies were the 3 of the worst lies I've ever had.
Well, one of your favorite courses, and mine, and I've never played Winged Foot. You've played a lot more great courses than I have. But the only time I ever experienced that was our Pac-10's senior year and at LA North, which is just a spectacular golf course.
Yes, it is.
I can remember just knocking it into the rough and go like, and then just as hard as I can try to get to 20 yards. And if you don't, you got the same dang shot again.
Exactly.
You can't advance it.
No, exactly. Well, that's going to wrap up the On the Range segment. But come back. We've got a clip from a Paul Azinger interview that's really relevant for the U.S. Open and for Winged Foot. And then we're going to break it down, and this show's really about Bryson.
And later we're going to talk a lot about Bryson.
That's right. So come back for the Front Nine. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
WXOS HD1 East St. Louis, 101 ESPN.
For 67 years, Lou Fuse has been the ride to take. 15 brands at 11 locations. Lou Fuse Automotive. We are St. Louis.
Are your workouts more fun than this? Well, if they are, then I want to sign you to an endorsement deal with Michelob Ultra. I'm looking for anyone and everyone who makes working out a blast. If that's you, head to TeamUltra.com for a chance to score awesome perks like Team Ultra gear and more. That's TeamUltra.com to enter.
No purchase necessary. Open U.S. residents 21 plus. See official rules at TeamUltra.com. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you tired of forking out the big money, all those dollars on golf balls? Well, we finally have an option for you. Let us introduce you to Sniper brand golf balls. This brand new product is a Surlyn-covered ball that is just great to play. It's long off the driver, it's accurate with the irons, and importantly, it's soft around the green. And you know what the best part is? It's just $23.99 for a dozen. That's right, $23.99, and a portion of every sale goes back to a military or law enforcement agency. Find Sniper Brand online at thesniperbrand.com. Plus, you can follow them on Facebook, Instagram, and check out their entire line of golf products on their website, thesniperbrand.com. And don't forget to check out the Sniper Brand logo. You're going to love it.
Let your local Farmers Insurance agent, Ed Fogelbach, put his experience to work for you. Ed Fogelbach proudly serves the St. Louis City, County, and metropolitan area and any of their families and businesses, and is ready to review your existing policies or provide a no-obligation quote today. Call the Fogelbach Agency at 314-398-0101 to get smarter about your insurance. Again, that's the Fogelbach Agency at 314-398-0101. We know a thing or two because we've seen a thing or two.
We are farmers. Bum, ba-dum, bum, 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 bum. In these extremely trying times, the management team at Marcone would like to give a shout out to our 500-plus employees and their families. Their diligence and commitment to each other, our process, and our company are so good that we are obligated to state it publicly. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. You have all contributed to our success, and your dedication is imperative to the continued growth of our company. Thank you for your efforts. Marcone is the largest distributor of General Electric appliance parts in North America.
Marcone Appliance Parts Company would like to thank Operations Director Jim Wolfington and his team of Marcone distribution employees across the United States who ship millions of next-day critical major appliance parts every single year. They help keep America's kitchen and laundry appliances working for you. Thank you.
You've seen it and played it in bars over the past 30 years, and now you can bring Golden Tee to your home. Complete your basement or man cave with the popular arcade game, The Ultimate Virtual Golfing Experience. Over 80 courses, unique game modes, and you can even challenge a buddy in online tournaments. However you play, you will be the talk of your neighborhood. Visit home.goldentee.com to learn more.
This is a subject that most people don't want to talk about, but many find themselves facing. Their marriage is ending and they need to find a good lawyer at the most difficult time in their life. Or maybe you're like me, divorced for almost 15 years, but you're still wrestling with hassles, maintenance, and other hard-to-figure-out issues. Do yourself a favor and call 314-788-3030. That's the law office of my buddy and attorney, Henry Miller. I was living under the burden of unfair maintenance and a few other things that could only be settled in the courtroom. My only regret is that I didn't use Henry years ago. He is first and foremost smart and hardworking. But what was really important to me is that he listened. He's also fair and extremely honest. We had an odd issue arise where I had paid for something that was not allowed to be used in our case. After one call and an email, it was settled and that charge was removed. Do yourself a favor and call Henry Miller. He is the man you can trust when you need him the most. You can also reach him at grantmillersmith.com.
Grab your clubs. We're headed to the Front Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing.
The Front Nine is brought to you by the Ascension Charity Golf Classic.
Hey, welcome back. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. I'm your host, Jay. Pearlie is with me. Brad Barnes is taking care of us here in the ESPN studios. And we're headed to the front nine, brought to you by the Ascension Charity Classic. I know it's a year away. We are going to get to the Ascension Charity Classic. Bummed that we got...
and you'll be ready, baby.
Yep.
And you will be ready.
Yep, absolutely. So thanks for the Ascension Charity Classic for supporting the show. And thanks also to Whitmore for supporting the show. They've been a great title sponsor. Folks, if you're looking for a place to join, your family loves golf, loves being outside, you're looking for some different activities, go to Whitmore Country Club, 636-926-9622. Bill Brungart is the membership director. He's a great guy out there. Meat, you just went out there last week, 2 weeks ago now or something, and played a little. They just do a great job.
It was fantastic. Everything looked perfect. It was a beautiful day, and the place was. It was. There were people there playing, enjoying their time, but it wasn't packed. And that's what I loved about it.
Yeah, absolutely. So they're doing a great job social distancing. Their outside patios are open. The food is fantastic. If you join there, you get 90 holes of golf. So there's 36 holes at Whitmore. Then you get the Links of Dardenne, the Missouri Bluffs, and access to the golf club of Wentzville. You're not paying for any cart fees. Those are already included in your membership. No food or beverage minimums. No assessments. There's a 24-hour fitness center, 2 large pool complexes. There's tennis courts if you don't want golf. You can go out and play wine and nine.
Wine and nine.
You go out and do wine and wine.
Is that complaining or wine, drinking wine?
Wine and
no
you can
then.
wine and wine. Yeah, you can complain and drink some wine. You can do whatever you want and pop in and see Bummer. They do a great job at the golf shop. They host golf league skins games, members tournaments. But check them out. Whitmore Country Club. It's WITMOOR Country Club, and you can find them at whitmoregolf.com. All right.
You and Bum are going to have a match this year or not? It sounds like it's not going to happen.
No, we you know what?
It's a definite maybe?
It's a definite maybe,
oh, geez.
Yeah. We've got a little time crunches. I'm going to have, knee replacement surgery here pretty soon.
You're talking about getting old, Meat. There you go, right there.
Meat, when they look at your stuff and go, oh, we got to get rid of it. We got to take it out and put something new in.
How are you even standing, I think is what the doctor said.
It's not good. But, all right, so let's go to this clip from Paul Azinger. It's, he was the analyst for the Fox Sports TV golf team and NBC. Now that Fox is no longer, he's just with NBC, and we talked about Winged Foot a little bit. Let's go take a listen.
Well, here it comes. Oh my goodness. Oh wow! In your life have you seen anything like that?
Paul Azinger is brought to you by Golden Tee.
Didn't you feel like Greg Norman had such a problem taking his foot off the gas pedal? I mean, I felt like he just kept, trying to hammer everything. And to your point, his short iron spun so much, and they're always up in the air, and lack of control there.
Yeah. The old adage, a lot of times was, the tighter the hole, the harder you should swing. Just so you wouldn't steer it, I guess. Maybe that was a psychological message or something. But you know what? If I'd have hit it as nice as he hit it, I probably would have shot for every flag too. It was, how do you take your foot off the gas? Now you're talking about that little take something off it shot.
Yes.
He didn't have that.
He did not have it. Zing. He got in between clubs and didn't know anything but the gas. He couldn't take a little 8 and fit it in there. He was always smashing that 9.
Yeah, I've been in that trap before though, and you can get in that trap where all you can do is swing hard. And you and I both played where we fell in love with finesse too, where we'd hit rip snorting 9-iron, or we'd hit a little 9-iron and cover about a 20-yard area with one club. And I think Greg got stuck sometimes where he only had about a 5 or 6 yard area sometimes with one club because he only had one speed. And Tiger never fought that ever. But I'd get trapped with my swing sometimes where all I had was full out. That's when I knew I was starting to get in trouble.
Yeah, that's pretty crazy. And I think about some of the opportunities we had with some of the players. I thought Greg Norman was one of the best drivers of the ball I ever played with, I ever saw. He could smash it straight.
Yeah, he hit it unbelievable. And I don't think I'll ever see anybody drive it like that ever again. But now it's so different. I don't know if they're going to be as accurate as Greg, but to watch the ball leave the way it leaves now, it's just blowing my mind. The first couple of weeks when I was out here and watching these guys on the driving range, Jay, the launch angle has gone up probably 5 to 7 degrees since we played.
I can't believe that thing.
Huh?
I cannot believe Rory McIlroy. You and I could stand on the tee 30 yards in front of him, and he could hit a 350-yard drive over our head in 30 yards. He could hit it that high.
Yeah, I know. It's the weird thing. It's like learning how to throw a javelin to optimize your distance. And, I guess as soon as you've had enough film speed or video or whatever to figure out RPMs and launch angle, that changed everything. And remember, that happened while we were playing, too, when I think Callaway was the first one to have built that golf studio. You remember that? And what a big deal it was to go there. And now they all have them, TaylorMade, Titleist, they all have them. But the first time you could actually see impact, the driver smashed to the ball when the ball was flattened out on that one side. That was so cool.
Yeah.
And it morphed into this. USGA thinks it's all about, or I don't know what they're all thinking actually, but it's not just the ball and it's not just the club head. There's a lot of math that went into this thing, optimizing your trajectory and matching a proper spin to it. It's not an algorithm, but it's written out exactly how you can optimize your distance based on the trajectory and the velocity your ball leaves with spin. They got it. And now these guys can hit it 350. A big part of the reason is because it's like throwing a javelin. If you throw it too low, it's not going as far. And they know it. And that's their whole thing, is hitting it farther.
Yeah, no, and the combination of the driver and the ball, the thing's turned into a missile. But Zing, back in the day when we were using those wooden drivers, launch angle, hell, man, I was just trying to find that little minuscule sweet spot in the middle of that Cleveland driver I had.
Hey, you and me both. I had an old McGregor driver back in the day. Remember the old Tony Penna driver?
Yeah.
It was beautiful. It was such a fun era and generation, but I thought it was hard. The premium was putting it on the fairway, and it was just hard. Guys that could drive it straight, Mike Reed or Kite or somebody like that, Curtis, they would just dominate. Hal Sutton. Those guys would kill. And Jack had straight and long. Watson rolled in there. Watson could hit every fairway if you weren't careful.
Yeah.
And be long. So they all drove it nice. Trevino hit it unbelievably straight. But, boy, it's almost as if, the whole driving aspect of golf flipped since we started into the top 10 on the driving distance list, losing their cards to now they're the top guys.
Zing, what about, it used to be drive for show, putt for dough. Now it's drive for dough. I mean, you're absolutely right. The script has completely flipped, and the guys that are the best two players in the last 25 years have been the crookedest drivers going, Tiger and Phil.
Yep, that's a fact. But you still got to putt. You can drive for an advantage and drive for dough, but you still got to make putts. Most of these events are still coming down to one shot here, one shot there. And even though, they probably are making a mockery of some of these holes, and not all the courses. You know how the tour is so smart when they set these courses up, Jay? They put the holes in places that can protect the scores anytime they want. But the guys are hitting wedges on holes where you go back and that should be a 7-iron. This should not be a wedge.
That's right.
Yeah,
that's exactly right. I
love it, though. I'm enjoying it, to tell you the truth, and I think there's a lot of characters on tour, and there's some good personalities on tour now. Well, I believe that the whole tour's, it just keeps growing. The whole Tiger element, the fact that Tiger won at the Masters, golly.
It was one of the most incredible things I've ever seen. And Zing, when he came back from that fourth surgery, the back fusion, because I've had one back surgery, and to get your back fused, it's really the career ender. It says I went to two different doctors here in St. Louis. They said, your career's over competitively. We just got to get you out of pain. Well, I never did that because I was hoping I could still play a little bit. But Tiger came back, and all of a sudden, Zing, his speed was back.
Yeah, he had a more controlled speed. The key to his speed is that he got it in the right spot. It wasn't happening early. He quit jumping at every shot. And I think I said something about him. I know how much you love baseball, but I compared him to Greg Maddux as he got older, and his fastball's 88 or less even.
Right.
And he's still getting people out. Well, Tiger's fastball's probably 88, and he's still going to win. Big part of the reason is because it comes down to that putter, and I still think he's got the best memory bank of putts made and a mindset, a state of mind in putting. You and I both know putting I always felt was more the measure of my heart than my technique, and all that stuff. That was all assumed. It was like a sequence of order in your head, how you putt if you putt well, and if you're screwing up the sequence of order, it's usually, I always felt like, it's such a wuss.
It's so true, man. It is so true.
Did you think like that?
I did think like that. And do you remember how when you'd come down under the gun, your palms are sweaty, everything is shaking, you need to make this putt, and you got it in? Do you remember the adrenaline rush? See,
yeah, the thing is, I didn't get it after I got in contention a lot. But you could still get a jolt when a putt that you think's going in and you make a step and it's not in, and it had to go. I've had jolts like blood rushes before, like to my face, like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Maybe it's not going to happen. Maybe it's not going to happen. Stuff like that.
Yeah, it's just there's no feeling in the world like that. When you have the rush going and you can go ahead and crash your driver an untold distance, it's an easy outlet, but you got to be soft and you have to be smooth with those hands on your putting, and that gets a little dicey.
Yeah, isn't it the greatest combination of the polar opposites in a single event? I guess baseball's got it. Well, not as much. Golf, unlike any other sport, you have that full-blown power off the tee if you watch Dustin Johnson, but he's got to get down there to that green a couple shots, 10 minutes away, 5 minutes away, and he's got to finesse something in the greens. I keep thinking about Oakmont and how well he hit it there, and the putts that he made that he didn't make at Shinnecock because he hit it equally as well.
Yeah.
But the putts didn't go in.
That Shinnecock was a bear. Oh, my gosh, those greens. Yeah. That thing was the wind blew from an odd direction that week. Zing. And
how about we got Wingfoot coming up, Jay-Bird?
Oh, I know. Oh, that's a headache on every hole, Zing. I played in 06, I think, there. Oh, my gosh.
I remember just walking on the very first green. All you hear about is Wingfoot this, Wingfoot that. And it was spectacular looking. I mean, kind of just old and nostalgic, like you stumbled on, a nice piece of farmland. They turned into a golf course with these beautiful, majestic trees and this beautiful old brick clubhouse. Tees on the front, tees. I mean, you know how it's kind of understated until you get to where that first tee is, and you look out there, and it's like, oh, wow, this is Wingfoot. And you get to the first green. I remember getting to the first green the first time at the U.S. Open practice round, looking around thinking, well, if every green's like this, I'm out. I can't win.
I thought the same thing, Zing. I said, I got a problem.
They were like that, and I couldn't win.
Tell the listeners a little bit about the first year at NBC. It had to be tough stepping in for Johnny Miller. I'm a huge fan of Johnny Miller as a person. I really didn't like his style of analysis, but boy, he sure was popular.
Hey, Johnny Miller was great. The more I hear stuff that he says, the more I realize, he was right on. I mean, he crossed the line plenty of times. I'm sure, opinions about Johnny go all over the map. It was just a weird dynamic for me to walk in there, and that we set up in that trailer, and there's a couple trailers, and it just was different. It's weird for me to walk into there. It's quite a dynamic with all these people that have been together for 20 to 30 years, and here I'm the newcomer, and I was nervous. I got to tell you, I was real nervous about it. But we're all buddies. We all do the same thing, but we never hang out together. You know how that is, Jay. You played a tour for 25 years or 30 years. I played almost 30 years. And you know everybody on the tour, but you don't know anything about them at home. So anyway, it's Faraday in there and Coke in there and Roger in there and Hicks, all these people. Bones is in there. And here I come. So I got through the first week of Phoenix where Johnny retired Saturday. I finished Sunday and got through that. I felt like I got, my rookie season's over. Everything from now on is going to be familiar. So I'm really happy about that. You know, one of the dynamics for me was tough was going back to Fox and doing the U.S. Open last year. I had 6 weeks off between NBC, which I signed that deal. Then all of a sudden I show up and it's like, am I an NBC guy? Am I a Fox guy?
Right.
Then I had to go back to do NBC again 6 weeks after that for the Open Championship over there.
Well, see, one of the things for me is chemistry. You and I.
It happens. You know how it works. The whole thing at NBC, you know how it works, bro. Everybody's there to do everything they can to make the show better. Everyone's there to help. For the most part, we're all there to help each other out. And that attitude really works at Fox. I think the goal is to make everybody around you better. And NBC has that. But they're all just so polished and so, steadfast in their ways. But when they hang around the trailer, they talk about stuff. And it comes out on the air, most of it. A lot of it comes out on the air. And just how we formulate our opinions. Patrick Reed's story was a big one. And, we were, after that whole incident there in the Bahamas, you don't just willy-nilly walk up in the booth and start talking. We were trying to figure out, what was the right way to handle that whole thing. And finally, Tommy Roy said, hey, why don't you and Dan go out there and talk to him? We're hearing what everybody else is saying. Let's just hear what he has to say. And so that's how we approached him. And he was happy to start talking about, I knew the rule. He didn't think, the camera angle was good still. He didn't think he improved lie that much.
Okay, Zing, I don't know what.
And then he said he didn't see the sand move and he didn't feel it. So that's what we reported on the air. I just said, hey, look, the worst player at your golf course knows better than to do that. And he did it.
Zing, he did it twice, though. If you did it, but of all the things you may have tried to do as a kid, you wouldn't even try to do that. Playing with your buddies, it's so obvious to me.
Well, I think that I wanted to do this. If you squatted down now that I think about it and just started flicking the sand away with your finger, because it's a waist area, how far down can you go?
Yeah.
That's the only thing I don't know is like, well, did he just do it faster? I mean, could he have kept going? But you're not allowed to improve your lie. That's
either way, no matter what, whether you're flicking with your finger or your club,
That's
you
right.
can't improve your lie. Moving
You're
the
not
sand.
allowed to improve your lie.
Yeah.
So it's a tricky situation, but that was just so weird, and I can't even put my finger on how his mind worked that out to do that.
You know, Zing, I loved what you said where he's really got to get it right from this time going forward because we got cameras all over the joint now.
Yep, you can't make mistakes out there. And, guys, I don't think anybody is malicious in their ways out there. I never felt that way. And I don't think Patrick Reed's malicious, but I don't know. What's going on. But I always kind of liked the guy. I think the players, think he's okay. Some players can't stand him, of course. But he's not a royal pain to be around. He doesn't say a lot. He doesn't say stupid stuff. He pretty much speaks when spoken to, I guess. I don't know. He's not annoying. He just made some bad decisions, I guess.
All right, so that's going to wrap up the Azinger interview, and that's going to also wrap up the front nine. But come back, Pearlie, and I'll break down that interview on the back nine and on the Michelob Ultra 19th hole. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
Are your workouts more fun than this? Well, if they are, then I want to sign you to an endorsement deal with Michelob Ultra. I'm looking for anyone and everyone who makes working out a blast. If that's you, head to TeamUltra.com for a chance to score awesome perks like Team Ultra gear and more. That's TeamUltra.com to enter.
No purchase necessary. Open U.S. residents 21 plus. See official rules at TeamUltra.com. Message and data rates may apply. Void where prohibited. Enjoy responsibly. AB Michelob Ultra Light Beer, St. Louis, Missouri.
Are you in the market for some new clubs? Maybe a bag and the latest style of sweet new shoes? Is this the year you decide to stop listening to your buddy's advice and get some real golf instruction? If any of these appeal to you, then go to Pro-Am Golf today. Pro-Am Golf has all the latest gear from all the major manufacturers. Call Steve today at 314-781-7775 and schedule a lesson with Tom DeGrand. Tom is the best. He's been in the game for over 50 years, so you take that knowledge along with their state-of-the-art equipment, and boom, your game will get a whole lot better. Visit them at ProAmGolfUSA.com.
USA Mortgage is doing it again. Joe Sheezer and his staff have lowered rates again this month, and they will waive closing costs if you want to refinance to get cash out, lower your rate, shorten your term, or eliminate that costly, unnecessary mortgage insurance. If you are purchasing a property, they can issue a pre-approval letter within minutes. They are the largest mortgage company in the state of Missouri, and their volume allows them to quote the lowest rates. Don't waste your time with the national online brokers. USA Mortgage is employee-owned and operated right here in St. Louis. Joe Sheezer has closed over $500 million in loans in nearly 30 years in the business, and over $2 million alone to Delsings.
Okay, so you and your family are looking to join a country club. Well, I need to recommend to you Whitmore Country Club. They've got 90 holes of golf in the membership out there. You have access to the Missouri Bluffs, the Links of Dardenne, the Golf Club of Wentzville, and all the cart fees are already included in your membership. There's no food or beverage minimums and no assessments. My friend Bummer in the golf shop is a phenomenal guy. You've got to go out and check him out. He and the staff out there run golf leagues, skins games, members tournaments, couples events, available all year round. There's a kids club in the main clubhouse, and they have a huge fitness center. There's 3 tennis courts if you're not into golf, a gigantic pool for you and your family to use. Year-round social calendar is spectacular. There's holiday parties, picnics, date nights, always have live music, and much, much more. If you're looking for a family-friendly, safe place to hang out, you got to check out Whitmore Country Club. Call them at 636-926-9622.
We're halfway there. It's time for the Back Nine on Golf with Jay Delsing.
The Back Nine is brought to you by Fogelbach Agency with Farmers Insurance.
Welcome back. It's Golf with Jay Delsing. Pearlie is with me, and we are headed to the Back Nine, brought to you by the Fogelbach Agency with Farmers. Ed Fogelbach's a really good guy, good friend, 9 children. He's got a couple of children working in the agency with him there. So he'll help you with any insurance you need. All right, Pearlie, what was your biggest takeaway from the Azinger interview?
I've listened to it a couple times. Obviously, you've had it before. I love the clips though, and I like when you're talking to him. I got to know him a little bit many years ago, mini tour golf. He is just still a competitor. It's fun when you talk to him and you ask. You guys are talking about different things. You can kind of sense him getting hyped up, and like his heart's beating a little bit faster and his palms, because he's just into that kind of stuff. So that's the number one thing that sticks out to me every time.
And he's an adrenaline guy. He loved to feel the adrenaline. And one of the things we talked about was what is so weird and difficult about the game of golf is that when you start getting this adrenaline rush, you've won tournaments before, you know what it's like. You stand up with your driver and this adrenaline runs through your body, and you can absolutely swing it and hit balls distances you never thought possible. However, you got to sit around with a putter in your hand and turn around and go to the green and go, wait a minute, I need the ultimate amount of touch and feel. And it's such a dichotomy of distinguishing, whoa, what am I doing here?
So could that adrenaline bring you into focus on the putting green as much as it can give you strength when you're hitting the driver? And I would say the few times that I was, on, that's what it felt like. You just felt like you're, I don't know, kind of in control, like you kind of had this thing a little bit, and pretty resilient to most anything. I did like the part when you guys talked to, you just kind of mentioned it. On those tighter fairways in a tough situation, do you back off of something, or do you go and swing hard at something to just kind of stay with that feel? So how do you feel you went about that?
I swung hard.
Yeah.
When it was what's comfortable for me. It was interesting because it was kind of, and we were all taught in the same generation with the same kind of mentality that you got to a tighter hole and you just swung harder. It wasn't like you tried to.
See, I don't know that I think that way. I'd get to a tighter hole and I'd probably take something off of it and work the ball more.
Yeah. So now I'd say I might think of it differently, but I would have a go-to shot. Most of the time it was a fade, and most of the time it was with something other than a driver. But there was that mentality when I remember growing up in the game, and it was like, man, do not try to guide this, swing away. And so my interpretation of that was, just go ahead and fire away.
Well, I think the thing that lines that up, and I like when you guys said that. I don't play competitively anymore, but it's definitely something I'm going to put in my head when it gets to a tighter situation. But I remember Nicholas. I can remember people kind of really questioning what he meant, and even laughing about this. He was 86 Masters. He's talking to his son, and he's like, let's stay aggressive. Give me the 3-wood. Well, it was a driver hole normally, but his point was, I don't want to feel like I'm going to guide a driver. I want to get up there and just wail on a 3-wood. But most people don't understand that. But what the conversation you and Paul had, that makes perfect sense of it, doesn't it?
Yeah, no, it does. And I mean, it's as much about the mentality as it is about the clubs, So if you feel like, it's really about what in this particular moment, what you feel like you're capable of doing. Bryson DeChambeau really pays attention to, I'm just going to say everything.
Everything.
Okay, everything. But if you watched what he did, he was specifically trying to carry the ball off of the tee as far as he possibly could. His strategy was like this, in my opinion, and I think you concur. You can smash a low one, and that rough's going to eat it up, and it's going to knock off multiple
40, 50 yards.
Tens of yards off of your tee shot. I'm going to take my driver and launch it, and I'm going to hopefully hit it dead straight or in the fairway. But if not, it's going to be in the air as long as it can be in the air, and get up the fairway as far as I possibly can.
Or up the rough as far as it possibly can.
Exactly. Up and so what, and I think what he was kind of doing, John, was resigning himself to the fact that no one's going to hit many fairways. And so screw it.
And he's right.
He is right.
Yep.
And so I'm going to hit as many as I'm going to hit it as far as I possibly can on every single one. So when I'm coming out of the rough, I'm going to have the shortest club in my hand as possible.
Plus his strength, he's in the top, out there? 5 as far as being able to get it out of the rough when he is in the rough.
Yeah.
I mean, some of the guys get in there. I know you picked Kisner, but I also see Kisner's I'll call it angle of attack to the golf ball is fairly shallow.
No, it is shallow.
You get into that rough, and I mean, Kisner's a great player.
Yeah.
But you get in that rough, and you've kind of got a shallow attack, that ball's going nowhere. And plus, if you're Kisner and you've hit it in the rough anyway, you're at 210, Bryson's at 140, and you're back there with a shallow attack at a 4 or 5 iron. That thing's not coming out of the.
Well, John, it's a complete error. And my thing, I'm thinking of a U.S. Open. My idea of a U.S. Open winner, prototypical player, is someone. Look, Kisner's not short. He can still hit it, 300 yards off the tee. But that's not. This thing blew it all up. This thing blew it all up. Bryson had a plan. He had a strategy. He actually has a theory on how to do all this stuff. And he's going with it.
I love when somebody just takes the regular stuff. We saw that with Tiger back in the classic Tiger Curtis Strange interview. And Curtis was laughing basically at him because he's thinking this young guy doesn't have a clue. And obviously he had a little bit more than a clue and a hell of a lot of capability. And Bryson's doing the same thing. I liked it part of the interview too. I don't remember if it was in this clip, but when Azinger was talking about seeing Bobby Jones had the same length clubs. Actually, Azinger didn't see it. Bryson did see it in the. He was talking on the show.
On the show yesterday, and this is about the Masters. And at Augusta, they've got a showcase of Bobby Jones's clubs in there.
And so Azinger acknowledges he's walked by 1,000 times, never noticed that they're all the same length. He's seen them. But Bryson walks by, twice and says, look at that, and then studies it that much more. Just a real student of the game, gets it. But I love the question that was asked yesterday, and I've asked this of you, and you didn't give me an answer, so maybe today you'll give an answer.
Probably not.
Is now that he's a major winner and he's a U.S. Open winner, is now when we start seeing young guys come out with the same length clubs and adding 40 pounds to their frame, and are we going to see it now?
Got to be. I mean, he's won 6 championships prior to yesterday. Now he's got a major on the mantle. And who's had a better year than he has? He didn't get Player of the Year. DJ got Player of the Year, and Justin Thomas won one of the the PGA of America.
Well, I think when you're saying who's had a better year, post COVID, I think is what you're saying, and I don't think anybody. He had one meltdown at Jack's tournament, I think, where things went a little bit askew, and I know they played there twice.
Yep. He had a couple balls out of bounds.
That kind of stuff. But overall,
it's
it's scary. And same with the putting. a lot of people want to criticize that putting, but what I loved about it was the mentality when he kind of talked about it. They were saying his mindset is, I just want to lock in this mechanical thing so that I can always know kind of what, just kind of mechanically line myself up, and then somehow he applies a touch to it, which is spectacular.
John, it's almost exactly the opposite of the way I putt. Yep. I'm trying to get as much touch and feel in there to plug into those senses that I think I should have. I'm watching him. I feel like he's judging how far to take the club head back so that he knows how much speed to put through there. So he knows how far there's. I'd be like,
yeah, because we've never gone there. Never, ever. We've always said the exact opposit, and that's what's so interesting. This guy, he's just doing it the opposite way, and he's
absolutely love it. My hat's off to him.
Yeah.
I when I met him.
You already knew he was a nice young guy.
Terrific kid, extremely respectful for the history of the game, and look at a great champion. Mm-hmm. He's a role model sort of human being. Well, let's go to wrap up the back nine. Come back. We got the Ultra 19th hole. This is Golf with Jay Delsing.
The 100,000-watt blowtorch for St. Louis sports, driven by Auto Centers Nissan, home of the 30-day return. WXOS and WXOS HD1, East St. Louis, 101 ESPN.
In these extremely trying times, the management team at Marcone would like to give a shout-out to our 500-plus employees and their families. Their diligence and commitment to each other, our process, and our company are so good that we are obligated to state it publicly. We are so grateful for each and every one of you. You have all contributed to our success, and your dedication is imperative to the continued growth of our company. Thank you for your efforts. Marcone is the largest distributor of General Electric appliance parts in North America.
Marcone Appliance Parts Company would like to thank Sean Young and the entire Marcone Information Technology team for 0 web failures this past year. That's right, 0 web failures, meaning 0 frustration for Marcone's valued customers. Great job, everyone.
You've seen it and played it in bars over the past 30 years, and now you can bring Golden Tee to your home. Complete your basement or man cave with the popular arcade game, The Ultimate Virtual Golfing Experience. Over 80 courses, unique game modes, and you can even challenge a buddy in online tournaments. However you play, you will be the talk of your neighborhood. Visit home.goldentee.com to learn more.
When things come out of left field, having a game plan matters. Farmers Insurance has over 90 years of experience helping people play through every stage of the game. We've seen almost everything, so we know how to cover almost anything. Talk to Farmers Agent Ed Fogelbach at 314-398-0101 to see how they can help you stay in the game. That's Ed Fogelbach at 314-398-0101.
We are farmers.
USA Mortgage is doing it again. Joe Sheezer and his staff have lowered rates again this month, and they will waive closing costs if you want to refinance to get cash out, lower your rate, shorten your term, or eliminate that costly, unnecessary mortgage insurance. If you are purchasing a property, they can issue a pre-approval letter within minutes. They are the largest mortgage company in the state of Missouri, and their volume allows them to quote the lowest rates. Don't waste your time with the national online brokers. USA Mortgage is employee-owned and operated right here in St. Louis. Joe Sheezer has closed over $500 million in loans in nearly 30 years in the business, and over $2 million alone to Delsing's.
For the last 48 years, Pro-Am Golf has been providing outstanding customer service to the greater St. Louis area for all of our golf needs. From top-of-the-line equipment to full-service club repair lessons and instructions. They now have their own retail outlet as well as state-of-the-art computers, cameras, and things to customize all of your personal club fitting needs. Pro-Am Golf carries all the major brands. They also have the latest fashion trends from Puma Golf. Whatever your needs, Pro-Am Golf will meet them and have the best customer service in the industry. Call us at 314-781-7775 or find us at proamgolfusa.com.
Grab your friends, a cold one, and pull up a chair. We're on to the 19th hole on golf with Jay Delsing.
The 19th hole is brought to you by Michelob Ultra.
Welcome back. It's Golf with Jay Delsing. Pearlie is with me. Brad Barnes taking good care of us here at ESPN, and we're headed to the Michelob Ultra 19th hole. Pearl, open one and bring it on over. Let's have one.
It's always a good idea.
It's not a bad idea. Me and I were talking last week when you were gone and said, you know what's so crazy about the 19th hole? You go to the 19th hole and you first sit down and you're like, man, what the hell happened to me out there? I am so confused. I can't believe I did this. You have one, maybe two, maybe even a third, and you're setting up a new tee time next week with your buddies and you're all, let's do this whole thing all over again.
All of a sudden, it didn't matter near as much.
Nope, it sure doesn't. Well, so I just wanted to make a little comment about a couple other kind of parting shots with the U.S. Open. First of all, Harris English, hats off to him. An incredible year, a rebound year, probably comeback player of the year, kind of in the golf abyss for a little while. And he started Sunday's round off, with a lost ball.
And he was hot.
Only because COVID. There's the only way you're losing a ball there. I mean, it wasn't that bad a tee shot. It wasn't a good tee shot, but it certainly should have been found.
Yep.
And he winds up keeping it all together, makes a few late bogeys, but still finishes solo fourth.
Yep.
And shot +3. When you start off with the 6, that's a hell of a round. Patrick Reed, Azinger we talked a little bit. I had to get that clip in there about, Patrick Reed down at Tigers tournament, wailing around in the sand, improving his life with his club, denying it all, And then to see how well he started at the U.S. Open was pretty impressive, and he kind of slid down the list, finished at
Well, he slid down the list, but that's the place, too. I was so uncomfortable when you were talking to Azinger about Patrick Reed, because I think if we're on the sidelines having a beer with Paul, he's going to say it a little different. And he likes to kind of say what as he's thinking it and as it's on his mind. And I think he did a nice job in the interview, and he did a nice job on TV with it. But I think he would be a little more blunt over a beer.
No question.
Yeah.
No question. Yeah,
that's a tough one. That's a stain. That's the problem with that kind of stuff. It's a good lesson for young golfers and stuff out there. It's a stain any way you look at it, no matter how you see it. I guess maybe not quite no matter how you see it, but how most things are seen. It's a stain on him for forever, unfortunately. But Jay, it brought up another thing that I wanted to ask you a little bit about relative to the Open. I saw more than once, and you know me, I watched a lot. I watched a lot of the shots. I really like watching the majors in particular. I saw a fair amount of times where you couldn't see the ball, and then the guys are addressing the ball, and then you can see the ball.
Are they changing camera angles? I didn't think so. Okay, so we should talk about that because that's a thing.
Well, part of
that is
but I don't know. Part of the reason I want to bring it up is I don't know the rule. I mean, you're allowed to put your club down behind the ball.
You're allowed to try to get an address to
go in there. Yes. Well, by nature of grass, especially whether it's wet, it's dry, different things, it's apt to be tapped down a little bit.
Right.
Well, there's a big difference if you can get, even in the tall rough, if you can get that club on the ball sooner, meaning going through less blades of grass. So how does that rule work relative to?
You know what, Pearl? There's just the rule works that if you're improving your lie, you're breaking the rules.
Yeah, but you're setting up.
Right. So
I'm going to make the argument that anybody that puts their club behind the ball is improving their lie.
You're entitled to a degree of that.
Improving your lie?
If that's what we're going to call it.
You know what I'm saying? This is
right.
a slippery slope, tough one.
Well, it's definitely a gray area, right? Yep. So, but to your point, how are you going to?
You know what, mate? We need a USGA rules official on the show at our beck and whim.
Call.
Just a phone a friend.
Yeah, phone a friend, because we get into these discussions. And I'm looking for, the guy that's been on tour for, 46 years to have the answers. And then he looks at me like, why are you asking me this? I don't know the answer.
Are you saying you guys don't know what the hell you're talking about?
Maybe it should have been a question that brought up me in prep. I don't know.
Oh, I think I did bring it up in prep and he didn't get the answer. Oh, yeah. Let's throw that one under the bus.
Was this what it was like on the course?
This is like
your fault. It was my fault.
Is my mic on?
This is like how I was coming over here this morning, though. That's for sure.
Well, no. I mean, we saw what happened.
Anyway,
I believe Kenny Perry did. I'm a Kenny Perry fan, but he clearly, through multiple addressing the ball positions with different clubs, changed his lie.
Yeah, we all also both know Kenny Perry fairly well. You better than I, but I know him fairly well through the years. And there was also an amphitheater of people watching and TV cameras, and that's kind of where I'm coming from. The result was it was an easier shot.
Yes.
It was changed.
There's got to be...
But I'm sitting there going like that. I didn't see that the same as the Patrick Reed sand thing by any stretch, but the point is the result was similar.
Well, you're violating the same rule. You're not allowed to improve your lie. So I think if you're intentionally, and here we go with intent, which how slippery is that?
Yeah, that's too slippery.
But if there's a...
Can it be too slippery?
I don't know if it's probably, but I mean, how do you go ahead and monitor that? How do you do that? I don't know. But if this gets brought up to the attention of the TV viewers and stuff, this will get called in.
I want to look this up for the next show. I mean, this is an important piece for me.
Okay.
Seriously.
Let's meet. We're putting Pearlie on this. When he comes back from vacation, he's all fired up. He's going to do research.
Which vacation is this going to be?
This is 17.
Okay.
Yeah, but it's only our 38th show this year. So 17 weeks off is not bad.
It's Hall of Fame numbers right there, really.
Right. Thank you. Now we're talking. Now we're talking my lingo.
Right. No, so you know what, John? Though we've talked about this off the air before, and it is. I really believe it's way more real than anybody's ever letting on.
Yeah.
Where that's happening. And the bottom line is we both love the game. We try to grow it. We try to do all we can to ensure that it keeps moving in a good direction. This isn't it's not a good look.
Yeah, some clarity.
Yep, it's not a good look.
And generally to address it, because I don't hear them addressing that situation.
You know what I can do is maybe I can I'll call Tommy O'Toole.
Yeah,
and he's a world-renowned.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And get his opinion on this because it's out there.
It's important. It's important. Well, anyway, back to Reed. Really started out good. Had a lot of good things going in this tournament as well. But they were also talking a fair amount of smoke and mirrors. It's the same type of situation. Certainly hits it long. He's on tour, but not a bomber. Certainly awesome around the greens. But you and I both know there's certain lies around those greens. I don't care if you're awesome around the greens. You're still hitting the equivalent of a side hill, squirrely, plugged bunker shot to a 40-degree pitch green that you're playing 20 feet past so that it rolls back to the hole. It's going to catch up to you.
Yeah, there's no doubt. And it was interesting after the first day, Pearl. The way the USGA sets the open courses up, it's always so precarious to me. You know, they're trying to get the golf course right on the edge where it's almost nearly unplayable, which I think I understand why they try to do that. I think it's over the top. I don't think they need to do that. But the way they set the golf course up the first day was clearly too easy for them. And when I sat there, the one thing I said that was right, I didn't think anyone would shoot under 65. So 65, 5 under par was the low score for the week. What I missed dramatically was the winning score. I thought the winning score would be right around +5 or higher.
Well, without the first day, it probably would have been.
Well, it's interesting. Only one person finished under par.
Right.
But Bryson, he wins by 6. But you still got to take Matthew Wolff, who is another bomb and gouger, and what a great tournament he had. Kind of a rough Sunday where he shot 5 over par.
Fun to watch, and it was really it looked like it was going to be a big time prize fight, kind of mid round, and then. Bryson, you can see how stable he's been.
That's what I wanted to say. There was a stability. Stability is the word that comes to my mind too. But there was something in Bryson's mind that Matthew Wolff has not hit that level yet. Well, that's going to wrap up another show.
Another show
in the books. Pearlie, thanks for being with us. Meat, thank you for taking care of us over here. And we will be back next week. We're going to have a clip from our buddy John Daly. Lots happened to John since he's been on the show, so we're gonna talk a little bit about this. But we'll see you next week. This is Golf with Jay Delsing. Hit him straight, St. Louis.
That was Golf with Jay Delsing, brought to you by Whitmore Country Club. Tune in next Sunday for more from Jay, John, and the other pros and experts from the golf world. In the meantime, you can find all of Jay's shows at 101ESPN.com as well as at jdelsinggolf.com.